Hi everybody, welcome to today's vlog. Gotta come back to this camera for a while. Uh, my good one's in the pawn shop. The one thing I'm going to be talking about today is I kind of touched on it a little bit in my video about the VA denying any form of acknowledgement of God in funeral services for fallen veterans. And this happens to pertain to the First Amendment. Now, the First Amendment clearly states that the government shall pass no laws for an established religion. What this simply means is that the government will not have a formal religion. Catholicism, Judaism, Wiccan, whatever's out there. It simply means the government will not have an official religion or a state-run church. Case in point would be, a good example would be like the Church of England, where the reigning governor of the church is the reigning monarch. And today it would be Queen Elizabeth. Now, people have this understanding and concept of separation of church and state, which actually is not in the Constitution, as everybody knows. It was simply a power phrase used by Thomas Jefferson for the Danbury Baptists in Connecticut. One of the things that atheists, agnostics, and liberals try to do is make it sound like we are ramming religion down their throats. You know what? So what? If I'm sitting in a park reading a Bible, you cannot come up to me and tell me I can't read that Bible there. Because you cannot cement your rights by denying me mine. The First Amendment, in its basis, is simply that the government will not infringe upon your rights to have faith, or lack thereof. The government cannot impose on it. This is why one of the reasons our forefathers came here to America, for freedom of religion. Now granted, there are a few liberals out there that'll say, no, we ran away for freedom from religion. Technically, you would be correct, but it's only a half-truth. And here's what I mean. With the Church of England, that was it. That's all they had. So if you were any other denomination, you were pretty much screwed back in those days. It was only the Church of England. So if you were a Protestant or Lutheran or Baptist or whatever religion you were, you had no place to worship. And on top of that, parishioners who went to the Church of England were taxed for services. This is one of the reasons why churches have tax-exempt status here in America. So churches are not taxed. So technically, the freedom from religion, it's a half-truth. We ran from England so that we could worship as we chose and not as the British government chose for us. Now, one of the things also about the First Amendment is the fact that it prohibits the government from utilizing religious text as a basis of laws. But wait, you pass laws based on the Ten Commandments. Well, okay, let's look at those. The only three that come to mind are thou shalt not lie, or bear false witness. That's perjury in a court of law. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not kill. No lying in court, no stealing anything, and no killing anybody. Those are the only three commandments that are the basis of laws. But don't you think as a nation that we probably would have passed those kind of laws anyway? One of the big things right now is a lot of Muslim groups. Now, I'm not denouncing or talking bad about Islam or anything like that. But you have Muslim groups out there like CARE that want to tell the courts, we're going to govern our people over Sharia law. Look, people, if you want separation of church and state and not allow the government to prosecute you on religious grounds, then guess what? You can't use religion as a defense. That's the way I look at it. I actually had a viewer on one of my videos that tried to tell me that if I'm in public reading the Bible, it violates the First Amendment. What he doesn't seem to understand is I'm not the government. It's not my responsibility to enforce that. But it is my responsibility as a civilian, as a citizen, to ensure that that right is not infringed upon. Another thing that people really don't seem to understand about the First Amendment is that just because the government cannot have an official religion or an officially run state church does not mean they cannot acknowledge your faith. Think about it. After September 11th, there was a memorial service in Washington, D.C. I don't recall atheists and agnostics protesting that. Obama went to church on Easter Sunday. I didn't see atheists and agnostics, protesting that. So why are you going to protest the average taxpayer for wanting to practice their faith wherever they want? And they have that right. And if it offends you, just walk away. Because no matter how many lawsuits you file and cry and try and play a victim of it's being forced down your throat, you're not a victim. The only thing you're a victim of is your own pseudo-intellectualism that believes that you do not have to answer to a higher power. Now, I'm not opening this video to debate over whether or not God exists. I'll delete all the comments. Plain and simple. This was about the constitutionality of you being able to worship as you please. And you have a choice. You either accept the fact that people have faith and you will never take that away, or you don't accept it. Nothing's being forced down your throat. The Spanish Inquisition is not going to come knocking on your door and stick a red-hot poker up your ass to make you convert.